everybody. So today I'm going to be reviewing something really fun for you guys. Now it came a few days ahead of time for Sephora VIB Rouge people. Now Sephora VIB Rouge people caters to big spenders when it comes to makeup. That being said, that generally kind of includes us bloggers, since we buy a lot of makeup to feature in our videos. By no means does anybody have to be VIB Rouge unless you spend $1,000 in a year and you're just as big a makeup junkie as the rest of us all are here, or maybe you're a cosmetologist. Then in that case you might be VIB Rouge as well. So VIB Rouge is basically a very important beauty insider. With that you get perks, free goodie bags, samples, promo codes, and a whole lot of emails from Sephora reminding you to go spend. To be completely honest with you, the biggest perk of being a VIB Rouge person would be to have a new palette out before it is sold out. So that generally means that you get to jump on the whole get it while it's hot game before it's even hot. So it takes a little bit of the pressure of getting online in a certain amount of hours. We all have to go to work and stuff like that, and I really wish that they just made more palettes for everybody. Lately I have seen a lot more Naked 1, 2s, 3s, and Naked runs on the shelf. So I know that they're probably manufacturing more, or perhaps it's in less demand than it is now. But hopefully, this gorgeous Too Faced Semi-Sweet palette will not sell out before you can get it to your loved ones for Christmas. With that being said, a lot of you guys were still lusting after the original Too Faced chocolate bar, and I've heard rumors that they will be releasing a palette that contains 2 of them. So if you really can't decide, you might want to hang on. Now, I don't know that for certain, so I'm just going to put it out there. You might want to already have 1 or 2 palettes on your Christmas list. You might. So for those of you who did not get the first, it's all good. Here is the second one. Now the second one does come in a milk chocolate bar container with the words semi-sweet and of course the words chocolate on here once again. This tin also contains a lightweight magnetic closure. I actually find this tin to be a little less bulky. The only thing I find odd about it is that it's actually the color of milk chocolate, not semi-sweet chocolate. Who cares, really? It's all about what's inside the bar. So what's inside the bar is the classic Too Faced chocolate bar mirror we all have come to know and love from watching our videos, or perhaps you own the original. But once inside, you have your beautiful 16 shades. Now this palette costs $49. You do the math. It's really not a whole lot of money per shadow. It's actually a really good deal. And these are all the words printed directly on the palette this time. Do you remember the first edition with that horrible plastic screen? Well, either you memorized the names, you lost the screen, or you had to deal with the screen. Some people like the screen. It was a good dust cover. But aside from that, it's just so much easier to have the names printed on it. So big improvement. Thank you for noticing what we were saying. Too Faced, great job as always. So here is the original palette for you guys. The Semi-Sweet is much thinner. This actually got a lot of feedback about it looking like a pencil box. It was bulky, everybody said. Now this is actually a lot more slimline than an Urban Decay palette. However, people want slender. They don't want any room taken up from anywhere. Now my advice, if you end up with these beautiful bulky palettes that look like collector's items, there's a reason it looks like a collector's item. It's probably because it is a bit of a novelty in a collector's item. You can go ahead and keep them on top of your vanity if you have room. If you don't, because you have perfume bottles, lotions, your daily skin regimen, then you know, get some drawers from Costco. I have like 3 tiers of Costco containers. You'll notice that it takes up more room for all these shadows to be involved, and of course the lovely plastic shield. So here was the original. A lot of people are like, well, what's the difference? I gotta know. And it's like, well, I think it's quite obvious. That's just my take. But this one has purples, a matte pink, and a shimmering violet. This one is actually very warm. Do you know what I mean? And in here, instead of the pinky highlighter, you have a peach highlighter. You do have that sort of a matte white highlight. And instead of all those purples, you have a lot of warm apricots. And then you have a blue. You still have a couple of matte pinks. You have Nougat, which is like a dusty rose pink. And then you have Pink Sugar, which is like a shimmering pink. Those colors can be used as accents, inner corner highlighters, brow highlighters. Like Nugget would be a beautiful brow highlighter on darker skin. But as far as what's the difference, I will show you. I think you all can see that. Now, the one thing I have to critique about both the palettes, why is this dark shade by the white shade? Just really, truly curious. Because this black shade or this dark shade is going to flake off into our beautiful classic highlight color and make it all funky wonky. Not my favorite kind of idea. The palettes are kind of all laid out the same, if you know what I mean. The key colors, the apricots, are laid out in the same kind of similar pattern as the purples. The key similarity with both these palettes is the layout, the dark tones, the highlight shades, and it's basically the color concept layout. They took a very true inspiration from this palette and warmed it up, quite basically. I really do enjoy this palette a whole lot. I love warmer shades. That's exactly how I feel about these orangey shades in here taking the place of the purples. Now, I've always been a huge fan of the purple shades, and that was a huge reason why I bought this palette. A lot of people are like, it's just full of neutrals. I'm like, it's full of purples. This palette, if you're afraid of going back into like that whole neutral side, you're like, oh, that's full of neutrals, then this may not be the palette for you. If you still haven't picked this one up, this has a ton more color. Now, if you're somebody who's like, well, I never wear color, I don't like color, I'm not afraid of warm browns, you might really enjoy yourself this palette. And on the weekends, you can start experimenting with that blue as an eyeliner. One thing I really like about this palette is the matte black in here. There are not enough palettes anymore making a really good, beautiful matte black. So bravo to Too Faced for creating Licorice. I really wish that Too Faced had singular eyeshadows, because sometimes I just want to grab a highlight shade I can kind of pop on real fast, but you guys already know me. I tend to gravitate towards the palettes and forget my single eyeshadows, so I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, you probably all want some swatches. Now, I already did a Too Faced chocolate bar review, which I will dig up and link in the bottom bar for you guys. And that will have comparisons and swatches in there as well. Now, of course, I have a different camera today, a little bit better idea on lighting, although my lighting is never going to be perfect because I'm not technical, unless I hire somebody. Anyways, Butter Pecan, my favorite, is in my inner tear duct right here. Very glistening, Champagne Royale. I love it. It's like Grand Marnier and Champagne had a baby. Wait, isn't that a drink? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So here is Butter Pecan. Blah, 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 blah. What am I, Italian? And there it is right there. Bonbon, which is a beautiful, sort of like an apricot bonbon color. I know what you're thinking. Backflash? There's a strawberry bonbon color in here. So this is more like apricot bonbon to me. Those are beautiful together. And that's what's in my inner corner right here. I just love the way it looks. It's like a very dressed up, natural, smoky eye. It's a tutorial all of a sudden. Caramel is one of my favorites as well. That's actually all along the center of my eyelid. It's a gold color. Kind of reminds me of Baked from Urban Decay. And I keep kind of talking about Urban Decay interchangeably with Too Faced because it is one of their competitors. And so there's Caramel. So up top again, you have Butter Pecan, second you have Bonbon, and third you have Caramel. The next shade in here is Mousse, and it is a nice warm matte brown. And that is a beautiful transition color. Very reminiscent to me of like a very milky chocolate custard or even milk chocolate. You can use that as a bronzer too. Has anybody seen the new bronzers by Too Faced? Ugh, disgustingly amazing. Big and Carry. I want to swatch that sucker. So there is Rum Raisin. It's a beautiful grayish brown with some slight shimmer. And I do have to say, if you're going to pick one of these palettes based on the build of the palette, the betterness of the palette, this palette is built way better. Not just because of the tin. Come on, let's get real here. It's what's inside the box. These eyeshadows are smoother and more velvety. I definitely have stronger critiques for Too Faced Chocolate Bar #1. So that is Rum Raisin. Rum Raisin is a really nice, soft, silky, I don't know, like a raisinette, I don't know, oatmeal cookie color. Frosting is like a really nice, sort of like a milky chocolate frosting color. It's got shimmer in there. You can tell it's made of sugar. It's just beautiful. So second color I swatched there is Frosting, and it is the very intense warm shimmer in the second row next to Rum Raisin. Now the next color I'm going to be swatching is Peanut Butter, and this is what I'm using as my transition color at the moment. Now Peanut Butter is a matte apricot color, and I just swatched it below Frosting. Once again, it is the matte color. Well, you can't even really see that because I blended so much. But it is matte. It is. Whether you see it or not, it is. So the next color in here is Blueberry Swirl. And I actually tried this over a metallic highlighter yesterday. So that is Blueberry Swirl. And just to reiterate, Peanut Butter. Opposites attract, baby. The next color in here is Puddin', which is a beautiful chocolate color. Matte, rich chocolate. I don't think I've used Puddin' yet. But Puddin' is really smooth and just glamorous. Color in here is Pink Sugar. This is straight up glitter. You might want to pack this over a shadow, because when I swatch it, you'll see nothing. I really just have to pack it onto my finger for you. Cocoa Chili. And this is in my outer corner today, the outer corner of my lid, so to speak, and it is blended up through the crease, blocking a little bit of my peanut butter. It's Hot Fudge. This to me reminds me of MAC Bloodline Pigment. It is literally a dark chocolatey brown with a little bit of a red embedded shimmer. This is Truffled, which definitely looks like a true, like, kind of like a true chocolate truffle. I haven't played with Nougat yet. This is Nougat. Very creamy, buttery, milky. Kind of reminds me of MAC yogurt, but with a brown undertone to it. Coconut Cream. This is my brow highlight today. It's like a cream white, cream matte white. And since when did licorice need an introduction? This is Matte Silky Black. It looks funny swatched. It's not a true indication. I'm always happy to play with the product first before I swatch them. Most of the time, in my experience, things that swatch terribly play gorgeously. So I always suggest, if you're new to blogging, to work with the product a bit first, because just pulling out a swatch sheet and going boom, 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 boom. Notice I did this all on dry fingers, so the mattes looked patchy. You're never going to be happy with the palette if that's the case. So play with it on the eyes first, because your hands and your face have very different skin. So just to reiterate what I think of this palette: mattes, silks, velvets, apricot colors, blue, warmer, slimmer tin, $49 at 16 shadows, or 16 shadows at $49. It's a couple bucks a piece. Great bargain, great deal. You really can't beat that. Yes, this does seem like a pricey palette. Is it? Not really. Let's be honest, because of the quantity of what you're getting and the quality of what you're getting. Does it smell like chocolate? Absolutely. Anything marketed by Too Faced that says chocolate better smell like chocolate, because that's just the way it is. So that is one of my new favorite palettes. Now, I justified getting it because I have been playing with the original chocolate bar all year. It feels brand new to me because I love it so much, and I always want to find more color combinations online, but sometimes I don't always have the time. However, because there are so many beautiful warm browns in there, no two looks really feel the same. And there's also little pops of color. So if I had to choose between this and this based on formula, construction, I'd go with the semi-sweet, just letting you know. But if these colors aren't going to work for you, you can definitely make this one work too. I still really like it. I just think that this one is a true winner. So I'm not saying that because it's new. I'm saying it because normally when the second edition comes out in a makeup item, they finally have it locked down tight. So That's all. So I hope you enjoyed my review, and thank you so much for watching.